kids, Shubhamangalam Athletic Scholars, myself Sudeep. I'll be taking class 6 for today, and the first lesson I'll be taking is our food. I've mentioned the page number for your convenience. We're going to start from page number 1 today. Yes, it's our first lesson in science, and let me mention the subject over here. Okay, and this is lesson 1. Fine. Okay, so when we look at the name of the lesson over here, our food, that clearly gives us an idea that today we are going to discuss about food. That is the favorite topic of most of us, as far as I believe. Okay, so now everybody, all of us definitely love different variety of food, and India being a diverse country of diverse religions and diverse people, there are too many dishes in our country that can be celebrated and served at different festivals. So now there might be certain dishes that you like the most, and there might be certain dishes that you don't like at all. So have you ever wondered how are these dishes made? Have you ever asked your mother how does she make it? What ingredients is she using? What do you mean by ingredients over here? Ingredients are nothing but the components that go in to make the food. Okay, components or materials. For example, when you take a biscuit packet and you turn it over, there is, it's mentioned over here, ingredients: maida, butter, oil, cooking oil, basically sugar, salt, or if it is a flavored biscuit, then you can have almonds or cashew nuts, or sometimes the strawberry cream biscuits, or they also mention strawberry cream or flavored cream over there. Okay, something like that. All these materials that you see behind the cover of a biscuit packet, what are these? These are nothing but ingredients or materials or components which were considered or which were taken to make that particular food item. Okay, so a particular food item will be made with the help of these materials. Definitely we are not going to wave a magic wand and we create the food item or the food dish that we actually like. We definitely need to work hard for that. Okay, your mom knows it much better. So now we have certain food items on page number 1. Okay, I am showing it here also. We have certain food items on page number 1, and they have asked us to name each one of them. Let's see how many food items do I know, and do how many do you know. If you're able to do it, get along and start doing it with a pencil. Of course, please keep the work very neat. Okay, please use a pencil, not a pen. So now the first one over here is, I'll definitely write the answers on the board also. If you don't get it, or if you want to know the spellings of the word, I'll be there for you. So now the first one here that I see is, the dish that I see is a very famous South Indian cuisine. It is dosa, and there's also chutney. So here I'm going to mention the first one is dosa and chutney. Okay. The second one that I see over here is idli, and there is chutney again. This is also a South Indian cuisine. The third one that I see over here is samosas. Samosas are too oily. Please try avoiding them. Now the next is a complete thali over here, where I see rice, I see 2 or 3 different types of curry, I see some matri also, and this is basically a thali. So let's write it as thali over here. Now the fifth one that I see is vada, with, I guess that the white color chutney is nothing but the coconut chutney. So vada and coconut chutney. Next, you have roti sabzi or chapati sabzi over here. Please mention it. It is chapati and some vegetable curry, which is unclear. If you want, you can mention your favorite one, like it be aloo curry, or it looks like parmal to me. Now, the next one is, the 7th one is laddu over here. I fall short of space, so I'll be erasing it for you. The first one. You can definitely pause the video and copy it down if you have not done it. Okay, that's technical knowledge. So now we have 7th one over here, which is laddu. And 8th one, let's make it laddus. And the 8th one here is kheer. And the 9th one might be a favorite of too many people in our class. It is ice cream. Okay, so they asked us to name few varieties of food and we have mentioned almost all of them. They gave us 9 types, 9 cuisines, 9 dishes, 9 food items, and we have named all of them. Hope all of you were also able to identify them. On the next page we have a table over here which is asking us what did I eat. Okay, so basically if from what did if you're watching this early in the morning, if you're watching this video early in the morning, definitely please write it down over here what you ate the previous day. Like in your breakfast, lunch and dinner, what did you have? They have given examples of you, Ashok and Neelam had these food items in morning, in their breakfast, lunch and dinner. Please mention your name over here. For example, if I was in your place, I would write my name Sukhdeep over here and I would mention what did I eat in breakfast, lunch and dinner. Okay, breakfast I can mention cornflakes and milk, and lunch I can mention rice and dal, and dinner I can mention a chapati and an omelette. For example, it's just an example. Okay, this is a very simple exercise to do it yourself. Okay, I definitely expect that class 6 would definitely do it. Okay, you just need to mention what you have what you have eaten in your breakfast, lunch and dinner. Fine. Once you have mentioned it, okay, you are going to ask few of your friends also what did they eat in their breakfast, lunch and dinner, and then you're going to compare the food items that you ate and they also ate. Now, are there any common food items in the list of yours and your friends? What do you think will be the most common? It might be rice and might be chapati. That will be the most common one. There can be more, there can be curd also. Okay, find it out. What are the most common food items? As per me, it is going to be rice and chapati, definitely in everybody's, lunch or dinner. Chapati sometimes in the breakfast also. So now we are going to discuss few keywords over here. Ingredients, as I've already mentioned, are nothing but the food components that go into the making of the food. And preservatives is one more terminology that we will be discussing. Preservatives are nothing but, substances or food items which are added to preserve the food for a longer duration of time, like pickles. You're going to add lots of oil, lots of salt, sugar and spices so that it stays for a longer period of time. Must have seen your grandmother making pickles. Now there are fragrant materials. What do you mean by fragrant materials? Materials which have a certain smell. Fragrant here is nothing but the fragrance or smell, like elaichi or the cardamom is going to have a certain kind of smell which helps you recognize it. Okay, this is nothing but elaichi. And then you have fragrance for many other spices. Okay, now dry fruits. How are dry fruits made? There is a certain method of cooking called as drying, which is going to be taken into consideration to make dry fruits. For example, cashew nuts, dates, raisins, almonds, all these undergo certain processes. Roasting is also one of the processes. You also have something called as roasted peanuts for dry fruits and all. Okay, basically drying is the procedure that is going to be done on certain kinds of fruits like raisins and dates and all, so that the resultant product is called as dry fruits. Dry fruits also include pistachios, almonds, cashew nuts, and many others, which are very good for health. Okay, don't eat too much of them. Then they are not good for health. Too much of anything is always a harm. Thank you. So we were talking about one of the keywords, ingredients. As I've told you earlier, ingredients are nothing but the components which go in to make the food, or the materials which are used in making the food item. So here I'll be showing you a summary of pictures at the end of the video, but for now let's do this together. On page number 3 we have a very simple exercise to do. So we need to understand what are these food items made up of. Okay, I'll help you with it. Many things are needed to prepare the food, of course. Yes or no? Is it okay if I take only water and salt and I prepare my food item for the lunch today? No. Definitely I need some vegetables, I need some tomato puree, I need some oil, some spices. Okay, sometimes sugar too in some cuisines like Gujarati cuisines. So now the first one over here is payasam, or okay, it's like South Indian kheer. So what goes in this, like sevia? So you're going to use sevia over here, milk, sugar. Please add on if you know further. Yes, chicken curry. What do you think chicken curry would be made up of? Definitely chicken, cleaned and boiled, and then you have spices, then you have oil, cooking oil. What else? Tomato puree. Next, Palikaram, or it is usually pronounced in Telangana and Andhra as Falikaran. Basically, the fali or the peanut is going to be used over here. It is like peanut powder. Okay, so definitely the most important ingredient in this particular food item is going to be peanuts. And then we have cooking oil again, then salt and spices. So previously we have studied about ingredients, which are the food materials which are used for making food. Now we need to understand, where do we get these ingredients from? Where do we get the food materials from? Look at the question of the food, question on the board. Who gives us food? Okay, the first one being, let's find it out with the help of a simple exercise. The first one being cooking oil. Where do we get cooking oil from? So you must have seen in your kitchen that you have a sunflower oil packet or a groundnut oil packet. So basically sunflower oil. Do you understand the sunflower oil comes from sunflower seeds? So basically it's plants. Okay. So here for cooking oil you are going to mention P, which represents plants. P for plants, A for animals, O if it is neither plants or animals and it is others. Okay. P for plants, A for animals, and O for others. If it is neither plants or animals, in very rare cases, of course, with our exercise over here. So the first one over here, the first ingredient that they have given you is cooking oil. You get cooking oil from plants. Basically, you have to mention some examples over here. I've done it for you. It is sunflower plant or groundnut. Okay, groundnut plant. Honey. What do you think? Where do we get honey from? The first thing that might have struck your mind must be honeybees. But from where do the honeybees get it? Do they already have it in their bodies all the time? No. They're going to suck in from the nectar of the flowers. Okay, so basically honey is also originally, it is plants. Mentioned over here from the flowers by honeybees. Third one, chips. Whenever your mom says that, chips are not good for health, but chips are also taken from plants. Of course, the resulting product that you eat, chips are oily and they are not good for health. Please avoid them. But chips are also originally obtained from potatoes. Potato chips, and potato is nothing but a vegetable obtained from a plant. So mention P over here. The fourth one is turmeric powder, haldi. It is also obtained from turmeric plant. Okay. So now next one is salt. What is the process of making salt? Evaporation. Do you remember? You take a bowl of sea water or some lake water which is salty usually in taste, and you evaporate it. The leftover grains that you see in the bowl is going to be salt. Okay. So mention an O over here because it is neither plant or animal. You do not derive salt from plants or animals but from sea water. Mention sea water over here. Sixth one is dough. Dough is the atta that the flour that your mother will make, that mother will use to make chapatis, the dough. So how is it made? How is the dough made? When you're going to mix some wheat flour with some water and you're going to mix it up and you make a rubber-like structure, and you're going to take certain parts of it and roll it into chapatis. That's called as dough. And it is, the wheat flour is originally obtained from wheat plants, very famous in the northern regions of the country like Rajasthan. So here we are going to put a P, place a P, write a P over there and mention wheat plant. And the seventh one is meat. Okay, the mutton or the chicken that you're eating is actually obtained from animals. So mention an A and mention the chicken and goat. We get mutton from goat. Eighth one is rice. Rice, definitely you obtain it from paddy plants. Okay, so paddy plant, again it is a plant, so you're going to mention P over there. The following three, the last three that are there in the table on page number 4, it's eggs. Where do you obtain eggs from? Animals, hens or ducks. And after that you have sugarcane. Sugarcane is obtained from sugarcane plant. So mention a P over there and mention sugarcane plant. And the last one is peanuts, which is again obtained from plants. So mention P and peanut plants. So we discussed from where do we get the food components. So we get it from plants, animals, and in some cases like salt, we get it from seawater also. So here we are going to discuss which part of the plant do we eat. Okay. Just in the previous exercise, we mentioned P in certain cases, which means that particular food component is obtained from plants. So we are going to discuss which parts of the plant we eat. What are the parts of a plant? The leaves, the stem, the roots. Okay, let's look at this. Fenugreek or methi in Hindi is you eat the leaves or the seeds of fenugreek or methi. Mustard. What do you think is mustard is? Mustard is the sarso. Okay, the mustard, you eat the seeds, the mustard seeds. So you're also, there's a certain process where you're going to compress the seeds and you obtain the oil, and the mustard oil can also be used for cooking. The same thing happens with sesame also, till. And then you have carrot. You eat the roots of carrot. I forgot sugarcane. You eat the stem of sugarcane. For onions, in spring onions, you eat the leaves, the green-like substances, and the other normal onions, it's the bulbular root that you're going to eat. The cabbage, you're going to eat the leaves of the cabbage, okay? And asafoetida is nothing but the hing, and you eat the root of hing. Okay, hing is usually used in biryani or some really special cuisines that need the smell. Okay, the further exercise that we are going to deal with is what are the methods of cooking and then preservatives.
One.
Who's this, Hamara? So now we need to answer a question together, how people develop food habits. When you're a young child, your mother teaches you how to, hold the spoon and eat your food. Or else if you're eating a chapati, how to tear it and put it in your mouth and chew it properly. So this is how, usually parents teach you how to develop food habits. But there are different cuisines all over the country, and that is why people have different food habits. They have different food cuisines. Like in the northeastern part, there are more people eat more of noodles and boiled rice. So they have a different kind of cuisines over here. Here also people eat more of idlis, dosas, which is a very good breakfast, which is very healthy also. So now we are going to mention different methods of cooking. The first one here is boiling. So for example, you're going to take a vessel, pour some water and put some eggs in them, and then you place the vessel of water on the gas stove, and you put some salt in it. So once you turn on the gas and you leave it for 3 minutes, the eggs get boiled. So do you understand what am I telling? We take a vessel of water and then we place the eggs, and then we put some salt and place it in the gas stove, turn on the gas stove on a higher flame, and then you place it for 3 minutes and the eggs are boiled. Okay, and respectively potatoes and rice also have a boiling process. Steaming. Okay, you're going to steam the idlis. In the idli vessel, you're going to pour some water, then pour the idli batter in the idli spaces or the holders that is given in the idli plate, and you fix it up and you place it in the gas stove again, and you turn it on. So it is because of the vapor of the water inside the vessel that idlis are going to get steamed. The similar process is being used for momos also. Okay, you're going to take a vessel, pour some water, take some stand and place the momos over them. Some people also use bamboo leaves for better steaming, and then you're going to cover them with a lid and place it for a certain amount of time. After some time they get cooked. Okay, the next one is fermentation. Basically you're going to add yeast to the batter, and so that a certain amount of carbon dioxide is released, which increases the level of the batter, and that will be used in the next morning to make jalebis. This is also used in dosa fermentation. Okay, roasting. So peanuts, you're going to take a pan and put some oil and put some jeera or some spices and add the peanuts and stir them well. So they're roasting the peanuts. Chicken is also roasted. Okay, you can also add chicken over here. Next, deep frying. This means you're going to use lots of amount of oil, and the puri or the pakoda that you're making is going to absorb too much amount of oil at a very good flame. Okay, shallow frying, less amount of oil, where fish and chicken, you just place a tawa and you place the fish on it and you sprinkle some oil and some uh, put some salt and some spices and just leave it for a shallow time, a very less time, okay? And a little bit of oil is used in it. That is shallow frying. I repeated it, I'm sorry. Then chopping and mixing. You're going to, for example, in coconut chutney, you're going to chop the coconut pieces, then you're going to mix them in the grinder, add the spices, the til, the sugar, the salt, and then make the chutney. That is chopping and mixing. Cutting and mixing, like lemon pickles, going to cut the lemon, or any other like mango pickles, you're going to cut them and you're going to add them to oil, sugar and spices and pickle them, and like a preservative. Okay, so in pickles you're going to use cutting and mixing, and chutney, chopping and mixing. Basically, chopping and cutting have a very little bit of difference. Okay, chopping is done in a certain way. Cutting is just using a proper sharp knife and cutting it into two halves, like the apple, like apple jams. It actually needs to be ground well so that apple jams are made. Jam is also, uses certain preservatives. That's our next topic. So these were the methods that we were discussing. Hope you're clear with this. So in the textbook they have also mentioned easy to understand recipe of tomato curry. So today you can ask your mother how does she prepare your favorite food item. For example, if your favorite food item was kheer, please ask her how is it made. Help her while cooking. Okay, so let's move forward in the lesson. It's preservatives of food. Why do we add preservatives? If your mother has made dal today, so are you going to eat that dal even after 2 or 3 days? Okay, you're going to not feel like eating it. You might feel like eating something new, or ask your mother to make something new, and even she would prefer making something better for you instead of giving you something that was made 2 or 3 days ago. But an idea about it, I just wanted an idea about it, that whether you would feel good to have something that was made 2 or 3 days ago. Definitely it gets spoiled. Who would like to eat something spoiled? It gives a bad smell, a bad odor. So what do you do so that the food items stay for a longer time? If my mother made dal today in the dinner, she would place it in the fridge so that we could also consume it in the morning, but not after that. The same thing might happen at your place also. You refrigerate it. What are other ways of preserving it? One popular way is to add preservatives. Here the preservatives that we are talking about is nothing but the sugar, spices and oil. Salt also. So now let's try to solve this table. Here we have adding salt, chili powder and oil. If I was adding salt, chili powder and oil, what was I trying to make? I was trying to make pickles. Okay. Now you must have seen your grandmother and all, they finally clean the mangoes, then they cut the mangoes into smaller pieces and they are going to put them in a big container which is glass. We always use glass containers for pickles and jams. We don't use copper containers or steel containers because they might get corroded, especially with copper. If you are going to use copper containers for pickles and jams, they get corroded because of the oil present in the pickle, and they are going to have a bluish green formation and you can't consume it thereafter. That's the reason we use glass containers for pickles and jams, because they don't get corroded like copper vessels. Next we have salt. If I was adding salt, which kind of food was I trying to preserve? Butter. Ever heard of salted butter? The yellow butter or the Amul butter that you buy from the grocery store is nothing but salted. The white butter that your mother must be making at home might not be as salty as the yellow butter that you buy from the market. Okay, so basically they have added salt so that the butter stays for a longer duration of time. Every food item has an expiry date. Please check before you buy it. Next we have drying. Initially discussed, we dry dates, raisins so that we get dry fruits. And see, they have mentioned dates over here. What are dates in Hindi? It's khajur. Very good to increase the hemoglobin level. Next we have the sugar syrup. Where do we add the sugar syrup? Ever tasted pineapple jams or apple jams? They're really sweet. So what do you think they're adding? Direct sugar? No. They are going to, caramelize sugar, form sugar syrup, and then they're going to add it to jams. How do you caramelize sugar? I'm going to take certain vessel, add some sugar, some a little amount of water needed, and then you're going to stir it continuously till it has a caramel formation at a normal flame. Okay, so now once it is caramelized, it is going to be added to the container along with the fruit or the flavor that we need to add, like apples, crushed and ground apples. This is a basic way of preparing apple jams, or instead, if you like pineapple jams, you could actually ground or cut pineapples also. Crushing them is a very easy job. You have mixers and grinders. Prefer using them, don't use knives. And then here, so this would be the end of a topic. Okay, I would definitely love that you out to read whatever was taught in this video. Please go through the lesson. It is a very easy chapter for class 6. We have discussed about varieties of food, different types of cuisines, what are food components or ingredients, and this time, every time, if you go to the market, of course, be safe. If you go to the market or your father buys biscuits or chips, please make an attempt to look at the ingredients behind the biscuit packet and try to find out what are the food materials which were used to make that particular food item. Okay, please make an initiative about it. Then we have also discussed methods of cooking. We have also discussed where do we get the food from, plants, animals and others. And we have discussed which parts of the plant we eat, and we have also discussed methods of cooking like boiling, steaming, fermentation, deep frying, chopping, cutting, mixing, easy stuff. And then we are talking about preservatives, that is how to preserve food, how to take care of food so that it is long lasting, or staying for a longer period of time. And then yes, please read the chapter, go through it. There will be a slideshow after this. Please go through and try to summarize the points. Thank you.
So this was the pickles I was talking about. You must have seen these containers in your houses, and here we have the foods that usually contain chemical preservatives, because the candies or the processed meat that we get from the market, ice creams, and it uses flavors, right? Certain chemicals for coloring and breakfast cereal. Sometimes they contain colors, chips and crackers, popcorn, goods, and mixes, baked goods and mixes like cookies, fruit juices, soda, and salad dressings and sauces. And then we have cooking methods like baking, deep frying, shallow frying, grilling, roasting, searing, and barbecuing. You can see these variety of methods over here. And then, yeah, the methods, few more methods that I mentioned over. You can see the fish being fried in the last row, the last picture over here. Then it's baking also. There is frying of egg, there is stir fry, the flambe, the first one that is mentioned, like is nothing but using the flame, French word basically. And then, yeah, these are the parts of the plants that we eat. We eat the flowers in cauliflower, the broccoli or the broccoli, and the artichoke. We eat the stems in rhubarb, asparagus, celery. We eat the leaves in cabbage, lettuce, and spinach, and roots in carrots, radishes, potatoes, and sweet potatoes, seeds in corn, bean, peas, popcorn, flowers in tomatoes, peppers. This is the bell pepper. You must have called it as capsicum before. Looks like capsicum. It's actually capsicum. Cucumbers and pumpkins. Yes, what foods that we get from animals, it is meat, chicken, fish, and cheese. And yeah, the foods that come from plants and foods that come from animals. It is, you must be observing that, the most amount of fruits and vegetables come from plants. And also, we see rice and potatoes in our case over here. And what do we get from animals? We get eggs, hams, sausages, meats, turkey, and milk. That's all. Thank you.